Hey everyone, welcome to our second in-person workshop in 2 years. We're back to normal, it feels. We had one last night, of course, that's why it's our second, but our first general topic. Can everyone hear me all right? Yeah, I've got a big voice for football and talking in a room, so it works. So obviously with in-person, a little bit of housekeeping, which might have gone out the window that everyone's forgotten about over the last couple of years. We are, is this gonna click? Let's have a look. So used to doing it on Zoom that it's now not working. There we go. Okay, so toilets, guys, are just out in the hall over there. If it's full, you just walk around. It's on the left. It's a disabled loo. If it's full or if it's busy, they are outside after the main reception. But if you go out there, please ask Ali or Adele because you will get locked out otherwise. You need a card to get back in. So if you do go, just grab someone so that they can let you back in, okay? Please keep your phones on silent throughout. If you need to take a phone call, totally fine. Just please take it outside the room. That would be great. So please just keep your phones on silent. We obviously love participation. We want you to get involved. It's a very interactive session today. If you have any questions, just raise your hand so I know that you want to ask a question, get involved, and I will answer your question, hopefully. And finally, there's going to be so much time for talking amongst yourselves in a group, loads of that. So when I'm talking or when Layla's talking, please just, if you could just listen, that would be awesome. I'm not going to be talking for more than half an hour today, I promise. All right. That's just a little bit of housekeeping. So what are we actually doing today? Workshop number 2, wild ideas. Today is an awesome, interactive, really fun workshop, which is all about ideation. And we're going to start using design thinking. We're going to get really wild and start get really creative and start exploring different ideas as well. We're going to give feedback. We're going to actually present some ideas, maybe for the first time today as well. Give some feedback from your peers as well. I'm going to start using and set you up to use the roadmap tool, which I'll explain what that is a little bit later. So we've got some goals for today because, as we always say, if you're not running in a direction, you're just running on the spot, right? So we want some goals. We're going to reach these today. Today, we're going to get really creative and come up with some wild ideas, okay? We're also going to analyze and prioritize these wild ideas in a framework called the how, wow, now parking lot, which I'll explain later. And you're going to get some really useful feedback from different people, which might lead to connections. It might lead to tips. It might lead to more ideas. So this is what's happening. We're going to start off with a little icebreaker. You know, everybody gets to know each other, break the ice a little bit. I'm going to explain what actually is design thinking and what are we doing throughout this program using design thinking. What is that process? We're going to hear from our champion, Layla, over here, about her story from this workshop and how that influenced her business, a very successful business that she set up and is running now. We're going to start getting into the wider ideas and set up for the ideation session. So how we're actually going to do that today. Going to have a one-to-one breakout where you will be going wild and coming up with all these different ideas, right? And then we'll look at clustering them, putting them together in certain sort of categories. Missed that one, sorry for the animation. Then we're going to go out again, cluster, and then we're going to go into a nice group breakout and share and present your ideas. For some of you, that might be the first time presenting your ideas, right? And get some really useful feedback. We're going to talk about setting up for the rest of the week, meeting with your buddy, getting into your business roadmap and setting some to-dos. And then Erin's here to talk about mighty networks, and I'll say what's coming up next because we've got a really busy program. We're already in the 3rd week. We're at the 2nd workshop. It's going to go by quickly. And here we are. But we'll start off with a little icebreaker. So if everyone can get up, come towards the front. I'm going to need these 2 tables. You can just push them back ever so slightly. We're going to make a little oval. Okay, get involved. Come on, come over here, come over here. Make a little oval. Don't be shy. No one's getting away out of this one. We're all doing an icebreaker. Come on over, come on over. Lots of space here. Lots of space here. We're going to make it circle/oval. Whatever fits. Keep on coming. Keep on coming in. Coming in. Ellie. Yeah, come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Okay. Come on in. BJ, come join us. Everyone's kidding. Everyone's kidding. Right. So we're going to just start off going around the circle. Just say your name. So everyone introduce yourself. Which will be nice. I'm Lucas.
Anas. Martina. Adele.
Alman. Eddie. Alistair.
Alex.
Guy.
I'm Enid.
Right, so we all met each other. But we're going to do a little quick icebreaker just to see what similarities we've got across the board of a room full of different people. Okay, so we'll start off basically, if you agree with the statement I'm saying, please walk into the middle like that. Little high five in the middle. Okay, so we're going to start off with you are a turn coach on this program. Let's say that. Obviously, we are your turn coaches, you work with Ella and myself, okay, so that is how it works. Everybody got it? Makes sense?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see, you are an entrepreneur on this program. See how it goes the room. Okay. Super. You are a business buddy on this program. We are business buddies. But we get a little bit geographical here. We all live in London or Medic. I'm sorry, you did it right. I don't want to exclude, of course. Who is north of the River Thames?
North of the River Thames.
Right, okay, that's something around. You're north. And who's south of the River Thames? Who's south? Who's south? Who's south? Who's south?
Very south.
Very, very south.
Okay,
You are,
south.
yeah, you're south.
Hey, what's your name, Beth? Oh, Robin. Hey, nice to see you.
We're just doing that. West.
North of the river. All right.
Welcome. So I didn't see you come in. So I'm reading out that couple of statements, small icebreaker, and then we're just walking if you agree with the statement, okay? Right. Let's see who wants to start a business in the food industry. Foodies coming in, walking into the middle. One foodie.
We only got one.
Already started a business. We get started. It's really here today. Okay, all right, brilliant. Okay, so we'll come back up. One foodie tonight. Two foodies. Let's see if you are an artist. Okay, nice. Brilliant. Okay, three artists. Creative. Last time we had about 10 creatives, was it? 10?
Yeah, we have like a lot of them.
Right, do you want to start a business in the digital space? Oh, we got two techies there.
We got two tech. Oh, we got another techie.
Oh, okay, four techies.
Hi, what's your name?
Hey, what's your name? Mirza.
Hey, Mirza. Nice to meet you.
We're walking into the middle if you agree with the statements I read, basically. That is the icebreaker. Okay, let's see who has started a business before. Anyone ever started a business before?
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, lots of people from there. Lots of people from okay, let's see who has worked in a restaurant before. How about who has worked in a clothing shop? Also, as a clothing shop. Yeah. There we go. Best part was this camera, not facing. Nothing more. It was just going back 10 years. Adele. Okay, so this is obviously a big one, very important to me. Who is a football fan? Okay. What team do you support? Leeds stayed up on the weekend. Congratulations. Coventry. Where's that? Liverpool fan. Right, and then we've got obviously another big one here, which is, do you drink tea over coffee?
Tea or coffee?
Tea over coffee. Do you prefer tea or prefer coffee? Tea. All right. And what about coffee over tea? Yeah. And what if you're not bothered about tea or coffee? Anyone doesn't care about either? Okay, not you. Don't care. Uncertain. Finally, have we got any musicians in the house? I'm a trombonist.
So you go in the middle then.
I call myself a musician. DJ, put DJ.
Oh, we did DJ in graduation.
Yeah, you DJ graduation. Speaking of music, guys, there is a sheet that's going around somewhere. Someone's got it. We want to start a term playlist, right? We want to be playing that in the breaks. Play that graduation. We want to hear some tunes that you love, that you know. So please, we're going to analog stuff. Right? Can you write down the name of the song and an artist? You can put 5 on, you can put 10 on, you can put 1 on, 30 on.
Leslie put like 40 Manu Chao songs on it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, can I do one more icebreaker?
Go on, please.
Okay, go in the middle if you're really excited about this workshop.
Okay, guys, so we just get to know each other just like a really little bit. It's going to be a great workshop. Please do chat with everybody. There's a lot of time to break out today, okay? Let's crack on, let's go. Let's have a great workshop. The perfect icebreaker is out of the way. Okay, guys, for those who are joining us just a little bit later, just to say if you need the toilet, they're out that way. If you're going all the way out for the toilet, please do grab Adele or Ellie, because you won't get back in otherwise. Stick your phones on silent if possible. And we're going to crack on whenever we're ready. Okay, so when we think about a business, guys, which we're all here to ideate and to sort of get going on at the early stages, let's think about it as a soup, okay? We need to think about lots of different things that go into that business, okay? So it's not just an idea. You don't just have an idea that starts a business. There's much, much more than that goes into it. When you've got different ingredients that all come together and you blend them, you get a soup. It's the same way with the business. You have different elements, different ingredients that come together to start this business. So last week, we looked at strengths, we looked at skills, we looked at resources, we looked at passions, right? They're all part of that soup as well, right? Who you are as well, that's part of that soup. And wild ideas, what we're looking at today, are also part of that soup. But in this soup, there's one central ingredient which goes into every business. It's the onion, or it's the stock cube, or the garlic, right? It's a really key ingredient in the soup, and that is your customers. Who's your business for, okay? Who's it gonna serve? So when we're going through this workshop, but also throughout the program, remember to always empathize with your customers. Always think about your customers and who they are. You've got to think about their problems and what your business is going to solve, okay? Think about their needs, think about their desires and how your business is going to serve your customers. Without starting from customers, when you're developing your ideas, they're not going to be as valuable as if you're actually putting your customers at the heart of your ideas, right? Because then ultimately you're solving their problems. So knowing that, okay, and understanding your customers as being central to your business, we're going to talk a little bit about now, much more about this next week, okay? But let's start thinking about what their problems are and who your central customers will be or might be when you're developing ideas today, okay? Because you can't start a business without understanding your customers. And when you're thinking about it, we can look at the same group of people as we did in terms of geographical areas in London last week. But remember, there are different problems that people have. There are different needs, different desires that customers have. So this group of people, they all live south of the river in Peckham, right? So perhaps that's geographic, right? So you want to be serving people in a geographic area. But you can take the same group of people, but they might be full-time working parents. So they've got different needs to people who are not. And the same group of people again, who might be all vegetarian, right? Different needs again, same group of people. There will be some overlap and whatnot, and we're going to look at this much more next week. But the main point is, when you're building a business, when you're building a business idea, when you're ideating, you want to empathize and you want to understand what your customers, what their needs, what their problems, what their desires are, okay? They should be central to your business. They should be central to any business, right? If they're not, I'll let you in on a truth. They're not going to use it, right? If they're not central to it. They might a little bit, but probably not that much. Whereas if they are, they will engage with it. Everyone here has gone to a business. How valued do you feel when you actually think, this business gets me, or this organization gets me, right? It's because they've put me at the heart of what they're doing. And this is all part of this process that is called design thinking, okay? And on this program, we are following design thinking methodology. So what does that mean? Design thinking is basically a fancy word for business development, a business development process. But it's where we develop real solutions to real problems, and you make a valuable product or a valuable business or a valuable service at the end of the process, okay? So the way we come up with these real solutions is really understanding our customers, okay? But coming up with these solutions, you've got to ideate as well, but then you need to test them with real people to make them better. So the process goes sort of like this, right? We start here, understanding and knowing your customers. They're central to design thinking process. And then we sort of start looking at these wild ideas, okay? And we do that today before the customers because we want to get the ideas flowing around. And you start sort of coming up with these new, innovative, cool ideas and solutions to your customers' problems, right? Your wild ideas are what makes your business unique and different to the other businesses that are out there that are doing similar things to you. You want to settle and choose on an idea to focus on, obviously, okay? But once you've settled on that, and you might have it already, you have your wild ideas that are a bit like the flavoring to the soup. They're a bit like the chili. They're a bit like the cumin, the coriander, the spices, right? They're what makes it different and unique. Then you want to take that, create a prototype, create a model to then actually test with real users, with real customers, to see what they think about your business, to see what they think about your idea, to come up finally to refine it and define something called an MVP, which is a minimum valuable product. Don't worry about that term today. We're going to do that a lot in the coming weeks, I promise you, right? But I just want to show you the process of design thinking. And it's really important as well that this is not a linear process. This happens again and again, right? We do this at Turn all the time, and Turn is 5.5 years old, okay? Design thinking continues, you iterate. The best businesses do this and they stay ahead of the curve, right? They don't just sit on what they're doing. They keep improving. They keep answering those solutions. So you think of this design as like a process. Starts with theory, starts with ideas, but it ends up with the practice and it ends up with reality. So your ultimate aim, obviously, when you think about business, why everyone's here today, yeah, is to come up with like a concrete business idea, a concrete business, right? And that will turn into reality. But not right now. Right now, we're focusing on the ideation. We're focusing on the early stage stuff, okay? And that's what we're going to be looking at today, okay? We're going to be focusing on the ideas. So what exactly are these wild ideas, okay, when we're talking about these wild ideas? As I said in the soup, they're the things that make your business unique. They make it different. They're the chilies, right? The chilies of this world. I really like that expression. Came up, I love chili. If you don't like chili, it can be a spice, another spice, if you like it. But they're what makes it different, okay? So when we're coming up with these ideas, you want to be creative, yeah? You want to find things that are really awesome. Find this exercise today really fun, coming up with these things. Expand the brain, come up with loads of different possibilities. Wild ideas give us a chance to kind of incorporate into an existing idea, build on basically on an existing idea, or come up with a brand new idea, okay? They can become your business idea. Which way you go with it is up to you. But let these ideas come to you and ask yourself some questions, right? So when you're thinking about it, when you're ideating later, what are the craziest things that have stuck with you, right, when you've seen it in a business? What's the most out there things in the business world that you've seen? Or what are things that have really inspired you recently throughout your life, or people that have inspired you as well? What are you really passionate about? What do you really care about, right? Or who has inspired you? So draw on these to ask you these questions as you're thinking, to really find some big, some wild, some creative, some cool, awesome ideas. Now, if you've got your idea already, these wild ideas can add to your idea. They can go further. They can take your idea from here and propel it further, right? But if you're driven by curiosity, driven by passion as well, maybe these wild ideas overtake the idea you've already got, and that's totally fine as well, okay? It's up to you, but the idea is there's not a right or a wrong with it, but opening your mind is part of and ideating is part of the design thinking process, okay? And it's going to really help you to find the best solutions for your customers. So when you're coming up with loads of ideas, don't worry, not all of them can make it. It's fine. We've got a way to cluster them, so you don't need to use them all now, but they might come in handy later on, right? It's totally fine to let some go. That's okay. But the process of letting loads of ideas come to you is great fun. It's almost like a game, but it's also really key to the design thinking process. So let me give you a little example, okay? Just to help with the theory, right? With an example. So here we have Ibrahim, okay? So Ibrahim grew up a vegetarian, right? And he always loved salad, okay? Loved raw ingredients. And he really wants to start a salad restaurant, but one that focuses entirely on raw ingredients grown in a vegetable patch, okay? Because he's seen that the farm to table model is quite successful elsewhere, but also when he was a kid, he had a vegetable patch and he loved being in the allotment. So he wants to take that and grow it to basically make loads of delicious salads for people. But Ibrahim also knows that perhaps just a standard sort of salad bar using this sort of farm to table model isn't enough to stand out. So he starts ideating with some wild ideas. And he remembers that one day when he was walking down the street, he saw this lovely back garden with allotments, and he saw this massive tree house in the middle of it. And he thought, hey, perhaps I could have a treehouse restaurant, right, that serves salads. That's quite cool. Really, you know, get people in touch with nature. And then he sort of thought, actually, what if this treehouse was made out of entirely secondhand wood, and we could be like a zero waste restaurant as well? That's pretty cool. So he's building already on his initial idea of being just a salad bar. So then he was growing his wild ideas. He was sort of really wanting to make it stand out. And he thought, how can I go even further here? And one day I was just reading the newspaper, and he read that Google, randomly enough, had a slide in their office. And he thought, oh, that's really cool. Why don't I have like a slide from my treehouse? Which is a bit weird, but it's a way people could leave. But maybe they could also leave with any leftover food they had and compost at the bottom of the slide. So then we're really like a zero waste recycling, you know, focusing on that sort of farm to table model. So for people to use the slide, they've got to have some compost as well. The point is, Ibrahim is coming up with all these ideas, okay? He's building on his existing idea of a salad bar, and he's going as far as a treehouse, to composting, to zero waste, to recycled materials, right? So much more than just having a salad bar and a slide, right? So much more than just having a salad bar on the high street. Now, perhaps he has a treehouse. Maybe he doesn't, right? Maybe he goes zero waste. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he has a slide. Maybe he doesn't. The point is he's really thinking outside the box. He's really trying to get out there. He's really trying to expand his ideas even further from just the idea of a salad bar to go even further beyond, okay? So when you're ideating later, do what Ibrahim does, right? Really stretch your mind and build on your existing idea. Maybe you find a new idea, which is also totally fine, but build on that and take it further. Don't just come up with, okay, that's done, that's my idea. Build on it and take it even further, okay? In relation to your actual idea here and how far you can take it to make your business Really, truly unique. Okay, even if they don't feel that connected, you can connect them. Who would connect a slide with a compost heap? Ibrahim did. Okay, right? So, you know, just try and build on that. And open up now to the group a little bit. I'm going to ask a question. You can shout out at me, right? Or put your hand up, whatever you prefer. So instead of being in the midst of, you know, a shop with loads of stuff, imagine you had a lovely display labyrinth that you could walk through. And instead of picking things up, you just crossed on a piece of paper what you wanted. And at the end, you pick them up at a warehouse. Can anybody think of a business that might maybe do that today? Exactly, IKEA, right? Now imagine you can get anything delivered online within 36 hours if you pay $7.99 a month, right? Anyone think? There we go. Oh, wrong one. It was Amazon. I've given the other one away. Ah, no, killing me. I was so proud of this slide as well. This one was, I remember in the 90s. Well, yeah.
Yeah, so what did Argos do?
Well, I remember, fun facts, remember in the 90s, I was 8 years old and my mum came home with a catalogue from Argos and I was like, it's just like, I want this. Obviously I didn't get everything, but how crazy is that? You had a catalogue, you just cross something, you go to the shop, you get it, right? That's what Argos did. At the time, that wasn't being done. And then they had this wild idea and now everybody goes to Argos. They got iPads now with the catalogue. Same sort of thing that's happening. Okay, so let me throw one from the Turn community. What if I told you that that I could cater for Syrian food events, but also be a human rights activist at the same time? That's brought into my business. Somebody who caters for events, Syrian food, but also incorporates into the business. Exactly, I am. There we go, you got it. So I'm talking about the Syrian sunflower Majida who came through this program as well, right? You wouldn't initially, the point is, you wouldn't initially think you could link the two. But if you actually, you know, go further out, expand that brain, expand the ideas, you'll find that you can. And to tell you a little bit about how you can do that is, please welcome Layla Majid. Turn champion and also founder of Sada Skincare that might have gone through a little rebrand today. Layla's going to tell you about her Wild Ideas journey. Was on this program with, a year ago. Layla, over to you.
So hi everyone, my name is Layla, and I'm the founder of Sada Skincare. It's a skincare brand for people with treatments, and it's built on community. So we share a lot of about it later on. But the important thing is that I was part of last year, and that's when I started. So this Wild Idea session was actually where I came up with this idea, and that's where I started working on my brand. So how does it work? It worked for me in a way that I came with ideas, and then I connected to realize how I can use ideas to reality, and accept that environment, to see something, to come up with different stuff, but you have reality, and our whole idea is to reality works. What can work for me as well? So I will tell you about, okay, so how I did my research. So it's very important. I went to one of the events when I was in uni, and my background is actually in computer science. I have a bachelor in computer science and my master's in finance. And I went to one of the events in my uni, and that's where they told me about how I and what, and that's how I did my research as well when I was looking for ideas. That, you know, what is the problem that exists already, and why does it exist, and how I can solve it. So this is how I did my research, and this is how I came to get ideas. I will tell you guys later on, and that's how I try to, you know, link my idea to reality. And for me personally, maybe it's different for everyone, but these ideas came from three places. one, from my personal experience, what I have been through, what my family has done, problems that I have had from my childhood, from my home, and things like that. Secondly was from my background in education and from my professional life. I worked for IT companies, also from my studies. And thirdly, it was from so the knowledge that already I had, the experiences that I had was something that I had really good knowledge about it, like for example, a good knowledge of your journey as a asylum seeker to refugee and how it works. No one knows that. That's only asylum seeker can understand how the whole journey works. Things like that. What was more important for me, I thought about ideas. Yes, this is me. So when I came to Academy and when I spoke to most of you, they are came with idea, which I did as well. When I came to I decided I had the idea of building an IT platform where I can people can create their own website pages because there are existing stuff like WordPress or Wix and things that they are offering. It takes ages to work with them, and I wanted something very quick and Canva. So they will require social media. Connecting the two of them. And that's what I wanted to work with. So when I came to the program, this was the idea I came up with. I'm going to tell you why I changed the skincare. So when I came to write idea, my mentor asked me to go to every meeting, every write idea that you have, and we went through everything. My first experience and stuff like that in this main actual workshop after this that we do, but it was online. And I came up with a lot of ideas, and it was, some of those ideas never came to me. Like, I had personally experienced skincare problems for 7-8 years, and I had a really good knowledge about it, but I never thought of starting a skincare brand. But that's how it came to me, and the idea changed. When I came with the idea of skincare, it wasn't what I right out there. So don't worry, this is not it, but you change, you define your idea, different things. But once you pick your idea, please do search, figure out why you are doing it, how it will work out, and what is important to you. And that's so I'm sharing with you my journal from last year, and these are my ideas that I came up with. So one was a skincare, second was the revision for tutors and studies. I had experience. I have been teaching students when I was in school, in college, and university. I was teaching maths, and then I was teaching coding to school children when I was in uni. And the camera and the template hub one was a child idea, the fintech one for old school people who doesn't understand how your finances works and how they can use this online robot accountant to work with them. Peer-to-peer payment was another one that I wanted to create like an application of Western Union, but with different features and stuff. And the final one was RegTech, so using that thing, but I had so many ideas. But yeah, this was the list of ideas, and I did research on single one of them. So you have go with it, see it, and for me, I was very passionate about skincare, and that's how I figured out this is the best idea I have, because I wanted to research. I was very experienced before I even do research. I knew what the problem was, how it could be solved, what I experienced, and how I best know about it. But I was still very scared, or I will be honest, it was not an easy choice because you go through this whole 3 months and then so much life cycle to work on that, and you want the best, you want the right choice to make. So it turned helped me with a great workshop, which is a testing event. We'll be going through the same thing hopefully. So here I went with some questions and I spoke to people about my personal experience, how I came with this idea, I got this thing, and I got really nice feedback. There were more than 100 people in my idea, and it actually helped me a lot. They gave me such good, huge reviews and understanding of what I can do, what not, and it was amazing that there were so many people who had skin condition when they came here. More than 60% actually have some skin condition. So they talked about their story and they loved the idea, and this really gave me confidence. And I was a bit more sure to go ahead. So right now I am in the development stage. I'm waiting for my trademark. Takes a long time, I didn't know about it. But once it's done, we will have the product out. So, you will, I don't know how many people know here what USP is. Do you have anyone? Okay, don't worry, it's a very, question time of term, but the main idea about it is that what makes your idea unique, because there are so many skincare brands out there, like for myself, and why would someone buy my product? Someone who doesn't have all experience and it's not really out there and it's a new thing, and why would people choose it? And that's where I have to find those unique points where I can connect my brand and understand it and become understand it. So that is USP. And it can actually come with, so for me, I have few USPs in my brand, but the most important one is its natural and organic ingredients, because I have personal information about what ingredients are good for my skin, what are not, what type of ingredients work well with skin condition and whatnot. So I make that as a unique selling point for my brand to use them with the skincare. Secondly was the dermatological skin condition. It will be only for people who have skin conditions. We will be working really closely with those people who have skin conditions and developing products for them. So it's not generally for everyone. And the final one is community. So when I came with the idea of tech, my aim was to create that community, because I came from tech. I don't know if anyone has seen design. So they have big communities. I don't know about other subjects, I haven't studied them, but they have big communities where people help each other and can actually reach out to people and work with them. And it was such an amazing thing. And I felt that, nowadays people are getting depression, anxiety, social anxiety. I had part of depression because of this, because, I was not feeling very well to go out and meet people, and I had a bad day with my skin. So we want to create a community for people where they can connect with each other. The point is that those ideas or those unique selling points came from every idea that I had. So it's linking them, it's creating that roadmap to your ideas and kind of like linking all of them. So some of them you can use it now, some of them maybe you will use in the future, but the whole brainstorming of ideas really helps. Okay, so my tips. Keep an open mind, think about everything that you have, even if you have an idea which is really nice, but still think about all the other ideas that you can think about. Think about this, that it's one time chance that you have to think about different ideas that exist, and maybe you come up with something better, or maybe you can come up with something that you can add as a value to your idea. Because there's no such idea as a bad idea, because this entire world is based on ideas that people came up with, and they built stuff like IKEA, almost everything. So, you can always have a good idea. Who knows, if you come up with something much better. And personal problems really connect with ideas, because for me, when I personally, because when you are going through something personally, it makes much more sense, because you have done everything. For 7 years I did research on what products I should be using, what not, and stuff. So it makes much more sense that I use my personal experience. Yeah, go wild as you can. Come up with every idea. When people go through ideas, sometimes we come up with ideas and we feel not confident about it or ashamed. If people who came up with tap on, if they didn't thought about that, we wouldn't have them in an easier way, or like reusable pads or things like that. So it's all about going wild and thinking about all different things, even if it's uncomfortable. And yeah, like I said, I combine my ideas. I used some of my ideas for creating the community. I'm using that idea still, but I'm using it for my community for skincare, people who don't watch the skincare show rather than for my team. And yeah, that's.
So, guys, back to this idea of the soup, okay? We'll come back to these wild ideas. We're going to get ideating now. These wild ideas, they're that spices, they're the chili, they're the flavor, right? They're part of the bigger soup, okay? So today we're going to follow 4 steps throughout the rest of the workshop to really get these ideas down and sort of start flowing. We're gonna break out and start going wild and catching 10 or more wild ideas. We want to get as many as we can and really let the creativity flow. Then we're going to start clustering them into the how, wow parking lot framework, which I'll talk about halfway through. Share some feedback so that, you know, share your ideas to get feedback, get other ideas from people as well in a group setting. And then we're going to talk about, you want to start logging the top 5 in the coming weeks into your business roadmap tool. So we need some sort of parameters for a good ideation session. First up, as Layla said, think outside the box, right? Let things come to you, surprise yourself, okay? There's no such thing as a bad idea, right? Don't just think about the obvious, think beyond that, think outside the box, okay? You might have an idea already, come up with a wild idea and connect them, okay? Keep an open mind as well, right? Just because something's not related doesn't mean you can't connect it. Layla did with skincare and digital online communities, right? She's connected it and it's now part of her business. Okay, so keep an open mind, keep the ideas flowing. Don't judge anything yet. You don't need to use these ideas right now, right? So don't judge it. We'll cluster them so that they're in a way you can use them in the future maybe as well. There is not such a thing as a bad idea, okay? And a few guidelines, come up with minimum 10, but come up with 100 if you want, right? You've got post-it notes, highlighters, pens, okay? So come up with minimum 10 and build on these ideas, right? Build on your existing idea and take it further. How far can you go with one idea, right? Come up with loads of different ones, take it further, okay? Use the whiteboards. There's loads of whiteboards around. We've got 2 wheelie ones as well today. Okay, use the walls. Don't draw on the walls, please. But stick post-its up and stuff. Okay, get creative, whatever works. All right. And finally, if you want, maybe you want to draw, then visualize in the brain dump section of your journey journal. There's somewhere you can draw in there. All right. So we're going to break out now for 25 minutes. Come up with a minimum 10, and then on pages 17 to 20. Write down your sort of top 10, basically, if you will, okay? You can have more as well, but maybe you got some that you really love, all right? At this stage as well, buddies, please start asking those questions. How can you link this to another idea? Where does it go? Get that idea further. Buddies, that's up to you to dig it out, okay? How does that idea develop even further, right? And of course, you can visualize in the brain dump section. We're sitting all day, but we're going to start clustering now, okay? We're going to go straight back into our groups, but let me just explain what that actually means. On pages 21 to 22 of your journey journal, does anyone not have their journey journal? I can give you one of these, just let me know. On page 21 to 22 of the journey journal, you will see something looking like this. This is the How Now Wow parking lot framework, okay? This is how you cluster your wild ideas. You should hopefully have 10 or more. So the Now box is for ideas that are good, but perhaps they're not completely unique, okay? Perhaps they've been done before, but maybe they're ideas that are quite easy, something you could maybe start like now, right? Quite low cost, things you could get going on quickly, okay? So that's the Now box. Then there's the parking lot. These are ideas that just don't seem that exciting right now. Don't get rid of them, right? It's always good to have ideas. They might come in handy in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. Who knows, okay? But they might just not seem right or useful at the minute, okay? You don't want to use them right now. Then we've got the How box, and this is for ideas that really stand out as very unique, but where you need more advice or quite a lot more work to make them real, maybe a lot more money in the business to make them real, okay? So that's a little bit of the sort of how. And then finally, we've got the Wow box, and this is the box which this is for ideas that tick all the boxes, okay? They're unique, they'd be popular with customers, you could start them easily, kind of low cost, you know, you could do them now and really wow, okay? So that's how you're gonna cluster the hopefully 10 ideas you come up with, right? So, what's going on here? There we go. We're gonna do that for 20 minutes, okay? Please choose 1 or 2 ideas that you end up clustering and coming up with, maybe your favorites, maybe not your favorites, but just 1 or 2 ideas, which you're then gonna present to a group. Okay, we're going to go into smaller groups. It's not going to be the whole group, but you're going to present them afterwards. All right. Any questions? Right. Okay. Already gone over. I'm so sorry. Okay. I hope everyone had a good session. We're now going to go into a group breakout for half an hour. 25 minutes. Okay, so we've all clustered. So we're going to have 3 group feedback circles now, okay, for 25 minutes. Everyone's going to have a chance to present and everyone's going to have a chance to give feedback as well. The point of this is, you know, think of these sessions as a way to ideate even further on your ideas. So you'll get feedback from people. It's not about saying, you know, trying to break down someone's ideas, trying to build on it and make it grow and take what people are saying, okay? Adele said in the entrepreneur onboarding, she said, the greatest gift you can give another person is the gift of a new perspective. And I couldn't agree with that more, right? It's so true, right? When you get something fresh, it makes you think, it reassures you sometimes as well, or it makes you challenge yourself, right? And that's how we learn, that's how we grow, okay? So see it as that. So feedback is how we learn, it's how we progress. I had a feedback session this morning with Adele and Ali, right? It's how we improve and get better in the work that we do, and in our ideas and in business and in life in general, okay? Not everyone likes feedback, of course. It's pretty hard to take sometimes, but please remember, right? Try to see it as enjoyable and take it in a way that you actually spin on it. So don't take it personally, first of all. That's not a personal attack, okay? Don't take it personally. Embrace it and learn to embrace that feedback and welcome it. So you actually think, I'm improving my idea, improving my business with what people are saying. Focus on getting really valuable feedback and hear that valuable feedback rather than justifying yourself and justifying what you're doing, okay? We're in a safe, supportive environment here. So focus on that side of the feedback, which is getting really valuable feedback that makes you improve, okay? Everyone's going to have a role at 2 things, an idea sharer and also an idea listener and feedback giver. So when you are the idea sharer, you will have 2 minutes to present 1 or 2 of your wild ideas, okay, to the group. And then you will have 2 minutes to get feedback, tips, connections, and more from the group, okay? And that'll go around, all right? When the feedback comes, for now, just listen. And of course, take notes in your journey journal. We're not responding right now because of time, but also just listen right now because it might just make you ideate even further, okay? The collective ideation. That was the word I was looking for, collective. As the idea listener and feedback giver, everybody will get an opportunity, business buddies as well, okay? First, listen very carefully to the speaker, of course, and then give feedback in kind of 30-second bursts so that everybody has the opportunity to give it. You might not get enough time on to give it to everybody, but you know, we'll make it work between the facilitators. And the best way to give feedback right now in trying to make sort of this ideation go even further and to take this outside of the classroom is, wow, I liked, right? What do you love about the ideas? Suggest more relevant wild ideas. Let's build on top of ideas, okay? So keep that building going, right? So you don't just have the one idea, you can go further. And give any tips or connections so that people start thinking now, and we'll start fostering organic networking already, okay? All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that, giving back a little bit of feedback. Just give me 5 minutes and then you're good to go. So we have added something in your Google Drive, which you can scan via your journey journal. It's called a roadmap, right? It's your roadmap. It's a bit like a kind of business plan light, if you will, right? Some of you will know what a business plan is. It's just a useful place to keep all of your sort of development on the journey during this program. And as you go further forward and hopefully starting your businesses as well, you will have a lot of written information already that you can use in the future. So this is it. It's saved in your Google Drive. It's a live document. You can go into it. Your buddy can go into it. You can work in it constantly. It doesn't have to stay the same. Scan your QR code now in your journey journal to get there. It's saved as my Google Drive. It's that one. You'll all have access into it. It is yours.
It looks like this, you guys.
Yeah.
Your
So
online folder QR code is here on page 6 of your journey journal. If you scan that, it should take you straight to your Google Drive, and we also share it to you on your email.
and it looks like that, right? So your business roadmap looks like this. Okay, it's the first version of your business plan, and there's lots of tools to help you develop your MVP and your idea, and for the sort of each stage of the program as well. The journey journal is great to take notes and to brainstorm, but we live in 2022. The online world is dominant at the moment and will be forever, probably. Maybe not. Who knows? Depends on the machines, right? Anyway, Terminator reference, if anybody got it. Anyway, so in here we've got something you can work on today, which is just documenting your wild ideas, where they're at, you know, write that down. And when you're ready, you can put down your chosen idea as well, which can update and change throughout. Okay, it's a live document. You can keep working on it throughout the program as things change. So this week as well, get out and set yourself some clear to-dos on in your journey journal. So at the back of the journey journal, get into there, set yourself some to-dos. So we have some suggested to-dos for you this week, and you can do them when you meet with your buddy or before, and set yourself up with that, right? So everyone's meeting with your buddy between now and next week's workshop. So combine your wild ideas maybe into a bigger business idea. Fill in your wild ideas in your business roadmap, get in there, start looking and working in that, because we're going to be working in it every week from now on. So get familiar with that and know where it is. Find inspiration for wild ideas online using Google and other search engines, which I'll tell you about in a second. And go and visit other businesses, go and test other businesses, have a look at what they're doing, right? And how you can do it better. We live in London, which is an amazing city with loads of businesses and loads of innovation, right? So get out there and have a look and see how you could do things better. But also, that's my London gift, but also look everywhere, right? We've got the amazing thing called the internet, right? The World Wide Web. It's everywhere. It's absolutely everywhere. So get out there and go and see where people are doing things. Yes. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, of course.
We can send it. We're going to send
We'll send this as well. Yeah, yeah.
in your WhatsApp tomorrow.
We'll put the slides up as well. So yeah, get out there, have a look on the internet, and go and find innovation from around the world, because although we live in London, there are loads of really cool cities in the world doing really cool things. One of which is Toronto, where I've never been, but I know that they have some of the most innovative food in the world and some of the most multicultural cuisines in the world. So check out what they're doing in Toronto. Or you can have a look at what they're doing with tech in Istanbul, right? Istanbul is really emerging as a meter of East and West in the tech worlds as well. So check out what they're doing there. You don't have to visit them, or even in Berlin, a city always pushing the limits anyway. And they definitely are with redesigning services and innovation as well. So have a look online, go and do that. And we've even got a workshop for you tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m. DigiSkills 2 with our champion, Sam. And it's all about, you know, Google search and Sheets training. There's so much more to Google search than the 2 buttons which say search or I'm feeling lucky, right? You can set up alerts. You can narrow it down into your industry. It's really cool. I actually did this training last year and learned so much. And I thought I knew loads about Google. So scan this QR code or visit that bit.ly link, bit.ly/turn-skills-training to sign up for tomorrow. We need to know how many people are coming, so you can sign up tomorrow to that. And then finally, guys, what's coming up in the week ahead? It's a busy old program. We've got loads going on. Do your to-dos, meet your buddy, do your to-dos, set your to-dos with your buddy, by yourself, as you wish. But meet with your buddy and actually do your to-dos, okay? Outside of this workshop, business and ideation and everything doesn't just happen in 2.5 hours, okay? You need more time. Come tomorrow, again, come tomorrow to DigiSkills 2. It's online from 4 to 6 p.m. Your coach will be in touch for your second coaching session. So we'll be looking at your skills, we'll be looking at you growing and where you're growing as a founder. So your coach will be in touch in the coming days to schedule that second session. And next week, we're already at workshop number 3. There's only 9 in the program. It's a third of the way through already. Okay, we're going quickly. Know My Customer. I spoke about it today a little bit. It's really important. And that is online next week. Don't forget to come. And on that note, that's what we'll be doing. It's Wednesday, the 1st of June, right? We're already in June, which is crazy. Okay, we're nearly halfway through the year and nearly halfway through the program. Okay, so we'll be looking at UK customer segments and trends, defining these target customer segments, start empathizing with your customers as well, and discuss how to solve their problems, needs, and desires. And just before you go, Erin wants to tell you something really cool about Mighty Networks.
I'll only take up a couple more minutes of your time. I did come to be inspired by your wild ideas, but I also came to talk to you about Mighty Networks, which you'll hear me bang on about a little bit throughout the program. Okay, so this is something we really want you to sign up to. It's where you can access our community opportunities. It's a bit like the Turn app or Turn's Facebook, where you can connect and collaborate with other members of all of Turn. So not only will you meet people from the Wednesday cohort, people you haven't had a chance to connect with from this class, from this workshop, you'll also be able to connect with alumni from other programs, mentors, the whole of the Turn team on there. So we will, when you follow this sign up link, you'll be invited to a program specific group where we share regular stuff. So we share what's on every week, what's happening in the workshops. There'll be prompts so that you can respond to kind of the theme for that week, share tips and resources. So for example, for this week, if you didn't get the chance to speak in your group or to share some wild ideas that were making you really passionate, but we just ran out of time, come on there, post some information about those wild ideas, share photos, share inspiration, and you'll have the chance to receive that feedback from the rest of the team and other mentors and get, you know, a lot of inspiration collectively through them. So we really want to make sure we get you on there. And if you're having any problems downloading the app, it should be pretty simple. It just takes 2 minutes to set up a profile and get it on your phone. But I'm going to stay around after the session. So if you need any help, please just come and find me. We can do it together really quickly because it will make the rest of the program so much more easy to follow. And it will also mean that you can really build on the network that is Turn. So we really want to make sure we give you opportunities where possible to do that, because as a community team, we're not always going to be here in these workshops. We want to have that touch point with you to make sure you get connected to everybody else, all the other businesses and all the resources we have at Turn. And finally, if you are a female entrepreneur, we have something really exciting we want to share with you, and that is the Her Turn group. If you haven't heard of this, if you haven't signed up for it and you are a female entrepreneur, please do follow this link that I'm about to share. This is a peer support group that is designed to connect women in the community with regular meetups that we do, which are social meetups, opportunities which are designed to help overcome additional barriers that female entrepreneurs face in a male-dominated business world. And most importantly, and what we really want to get clear today is if you're a mum and you are struggling with childcare, we have 30 hours of free childcare through our partner Bubble, which is a childcare app. So you'll be able to get, if you're interested, and fill out this form. Oh, bit of a fun song. You'll be able to be invited to the onboarding, which is going to be at the start of June for Bubble, to learn a bit about what Bubble is, what the app looks like, and how to get that childcare. All you need to do is fill this out so that we know you're interested, guys. And you can use that childcare for yourself, but it's also there for you to access important program events. So any of the workshops you're having trouble with childcare for, the testing event, and then the graduation as well. So if you want to chat to me about either of those two community opportunities, I'm going to stay behind. Come and find me. Thank you, guys.
Guys, thank you so much for an extra 10 minutes. I'm very grateful. I appreciate it. Thank you for staying. Thanks for a great workshop. You guys are all awesome. Please scan this QR code. Give us feedback. Give us feedback. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? Let us know. We cannot get better without your feedback. Embodying design thinking, huh?